Israel is about to make a transition. 40 years they have wandered, now they are about to settle down in a new land. It's a time of transition. From Moses to Joshua, from the wilderness to the promise, from nomads to farmers, from people with no land to people of land. Welcome back to Scratch the Surface, and today we're going to take a closer look on the book of Deuteronomy, the power of memories, and the idea of love. This book is like Moses' State of the Union address, personal diary, and tearful swan song all combined into one. Deutero means second, and nomos means law. So Deuteronomy is the second hearing of the law, a form of personal plea. Moses felt that the entire history of the Israelites depended on what happened next. Poised on the bank of Jordan River, they were about to enter the Promised Land. So the question is, how would they react to the new land? Would they keep their covenant with God, or would they reject it for the immediate pleasure around them? There are three major parts of Moses' speech. Chapter 1 to 3, recap of God's dealing with Israel. Chapter 4 to 26, covenant renewal. Chapters 27 to 33, farewell charge. And now, let's scratch the surface and dive deeper to the emotional and powerful speech of Moses. In the first great speech, Moses recalled Israel's history through his own eyes. The life in Egypt, the departure, the desert with snakes and scorpions, and the phenomenal miracles of God. Moses seemed to fear the coming prosperity even more than the rigors of the desert, and he voiced those fears in chapter 8. In the Promised Land, a lush country of streams and fruit trees and valuable resources, the Israelites might forget God and begin to take credit for their own success. So what was Moses' message? The keyword is remember, or what we call the power of memories. Remember who loves you, remember what matters, remember what is right and wrong. In Deuteronomy, God is telling His children to remember. Rather than representing a quest for new truth, Deuteronomy exhorts Israel to retain and obey the previously revealed truth of God as already given in His absolute and unchanging word. This is where the power of memories comes in. The reason why Moses kept urging, remember the days of slavery in Egypt and God's act in liberating you. Remember the trials of the vast and desolate desert and God's faithfulness there. In the desert, at least they had been forced to lean on God just for daily survival. But after a very short time in Canaan, they forget about Him. In times of prosperity and abundance, people are inclined to become satisfied with life on earth as it is and to find their enjoyment in material blessings. Prosperity brings the temptation to forget God, to no longer seek spiritual blessings, and to fail to grieve over the sin and evil in the world. There is a grave danger in finally getting what you want. So memories matters in a sense that it protects us from spiritual amnesia. Another thing is the idea of love. Deuteronomy repeats verbatim many of the laws given in Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers. But it's not a rule book. A different spirit pervades, the spirit of love. In chapter 4 to 26, which is the longest part of Moses' speech, he discussed the moral and civil code, but he did not just read the laws as a textbook. He amplified and preached them. The book focuses on motives, why people should obey the laws. The author portrayed God as a father with his children, as a mother who gives them life, as an eagle hovering over its young. In this book, Moses is conveying that God is asking for obedience not in a sense of duty, but based deeply in love, and that we obey Him not because we should, but because we love Him. God wanted His people to obey Him wholeheartedly. Thus, the emphasis Moses placed on obedience to God and the commandment. The book of Deuteronomy is a conclusion to the book of Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers. Apart from Deuteronomy, these 4 books would not have a conclusion. So do you think Moses' writing could have concluded with Genesis? Genesis ends with a man in a coffin in Egypt. Surely the divine revelation could not conclude in such a way. For a proper conclusion, the book of Deuteronomy is needed. Deuteronomy is an all-inclusive conclusion of the 4 preceding books, for Deuteronomy is a totality of the thought of these books. Therefore, if we would understand the thought of Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers, we need to come to Deuteronomy. Thank you so much for your unending support to our videos. We really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Subscribe now and learn more about the books on the Bible. Thank you so much again for watching. Godspeed.